Okay, the beginning is always terrifying. It's just so loud.
Seth, I think you kind of like it terrifying because all we have to do is ask Jack Plotnick to redo it and lower the sound.
All right, so anyway, I still think it's scary. All right, so guys, I'm Seth. This is James. This is Starts in the House. We do this twice a day, 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. every single day. On Wednesdays and Saturdays, we do plays. So today we did The Divine Sister with Charles Busch and Julie Halston. I can't really announce what's coming next because it's not confirmed. We have lots of plays.
In fact, I'm actually only here for the beginning of the show because we have a certain Tony Award winner who may do the play that may happen on Saturday.
So he's got to handle that.
So I've got a little email, texting, calling to do. But let's what is Stars in the House, Seth?
Okay, Stars in the House. Wait, I said it already.
You did?
Yeah. So what's the Actors Fund?
What's the Actors Fund? The Actors Fund is, I'm already double tasking, multitasking here. The Actors Fund is a national organization that is there for people in the performing arts who are in need, which is really like almost everyone now for professionals. And as we say, it isn't just for actors and it isn't just for people in New York or Los Angeles. It's for professionals in the performing arts all over the country.
No matter what they do in the performing arts.
That's right.
Opera singers, ballet, teachers, wedding singers, bar mitzvah singers, coaches, script supervisors. Someone even today said to me, is it only for theater? It's not just for theater. It's for television, for film, but also it's for these small theaters that are completely struggling and no one's working. Right.
And I say it like every 5 shows, but I mean, B.B. Newworth explained it to us that the Actors Fund has been around for 138 years and it got its name because 138 years ago, there was no such thing as TV, films. There weren't record players. There weren't radio stations. It was stage.
There was show folk.
And everyone was considered an actor, whether you were behind the scenes or on stage. And so that's how the Actors Fund name came to be.
And by the way, I just saw something today. Judy Kuhn posted it. Certain equity actors were like 2 weeks away from getting health insurance and they had shows planned.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and their shows were canceled and now they don't have health insurance. And some people are saying, well, I have health insurance from SAG-AFTRA. Can I donate my equity weeks? But the point is, people don't. It's really like an emergency out there.
Right.
People don't have health insurance and they don't know what to do. There's no plan in place. So the Actors Fund is doling out $250,000 per day to people, direct loans to people to pay their rent or their medical bills. So this show is really fun, loving, and fun. But we're really raising money for something so important. People are really suffering and struggling.
So speaking of money, I cannot believe this, Seth.
Yeah, last night was great.
The Glee fans came through and it brought us to a total. Andrea will love hearing this because she asks us about every other day, how much money have you guys raised? Well, Andrea, we are at, as of last night, $209,600 raised for the Actors Fund.
Isn't that amazing? Just look how cute she is. She's actually clapping. She's so cute. Thank you. Literally just from these kind of donations. And once in a while, like last night, someone said, I will match $5,000.
That's right. And I don't even, by the way, Seth, I don't even think that $109,000 includes that match at $5,000.
I mean, $209,000.
Yeah, $209,000.
Yeah, I think we're still waiting for the match. But once in a while, we'll get a matching. But it's really just people giving $30, $50.
Yeah.
And it's adding up. So we so appreciate it. We have so many shows planned. We have so many amazing TV reunions next week.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's the other thing. We'll announce those. But I wanted to read this letter, Seth, before I depart and watch upstairs and do those emails. We just got this in. Dear all, just to say I came across the Stars in the House site by accident and watched Sister Divine this evening.
The Divine Sister.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he wrote Sister Divine. Yeah. And completely loved watching it here in Swansea, Wales, in the UK. That's why
they said this evening.
This evening, because it was the evening there.
Oh, wow.
What a hoot. Whoever thought you could do a play that way? Great way to spend lockdown. This is literally someone in Wales. And I managed to contact my daughter in Berlin, and she watched it from there. Bravo, Chris Jones. P.S. I've made a donation, so good luck with the fundraising.
That's so nice.
Isn't that nice?
So, and by the way, just the final thing is we're really lucky we have this. I got an email today from the original Annie from Australia, who's now older, but she said there was nothing set up to help performers in Australia. She said nobody's working and no one is helping them. So she's asking us how to help. So we're lucky we have this Actors Fund for everybody. So if you can donate, if not, just have a great time and feel united while we're going through this together.
Oh, Seth, you totally reminded me because I think I have to email her.
Yeah, you should email her.
So and it's 8:10 a.m. in Australia. So maybe she's just waking up. So I'm gonna watch from upstairs.
Yay.
Seth Rudetsky, when I met him 13 years ago, one of the things he could not stop talking about was this particular TV show. Out of like literally any TV show that you grew up with.
I'm crazy obsessed. I'm really starting to cry. I love this show so much. I can't even tell you. I love this show so much. I grew up on it. Like I got like my comedy. I just love it. I'm so excited to do this.
Okay, so I'm gonna watch you have fun from upstairs,
Right,
and I'll take Mandy because she's already whining. And
our dog is acting out.
Mandy knows that she's being abandoned.
All right, everyone. So I'm freaking out. Mandy, honey, go upstairs.
That's all right.
Right eyes. All right, so please welcome the stars of SNL. Just kidding. Don't know the actual show. Just kidding. Anyway, please welcome the amazing stars of SCTV. Some of the stars. We don't have all of them here, but I'd love to do a whole day one. Anyway, the point is, these are who I got for tonight. I'm very excited. Please welcome the amazing Eugene Levy. Hi, Eugene.
Hi, Seth.
Okay, you have more people coming. You look, by the way, I love the hair. How did you get rid of the Jufro? We'll talk about it later. Okay.
I'll talk about it later.
Privately. The amazing Marty Short. A little blurry, Marty. A little blurry.
What happened?
You're just blurry.
With age.
No. I think I look good. Hold on. Whoa.
It's interesting.
That's not good.
Okay. Ms. in beautiful light, Catherine O'Hara. Hi, Catherine.
Beautiful
I
girl.
opened the door.
Go get the door. It's fine. Why not? I'll take you off camera. And in Toronto, honorary Canadian, Andrea Martin.
Hello,
Andrea
love.
Martin.
Hello, friends.
Andrea,
Hello, Andrea.
Hi, Eugene.
Was it Andrea?
I always call her Andrea.
There we go.
I don't like my lighting now. I've got to try a different one.
Hey, Andrea, do you recognize this shirt?
Let me see. I can't see anything, of course. Is that the one I bought you?
Yeah, I still wear it. You got it like 7 years ago. It's one of my only shirts. Thank you. Namaste. Okay, I have so many things to talk to you guys about. Let me go back. I know that three of you.
I'm assuming you edit.
You still got it. Okay, I know the three of you clowns met during a certain show. Okay, so I've heard Andrea's version of the story. I'd love to hear Eugene and Marty's version. How did you guys? Sorry, Catherine, you'll come on soon. But
I'd like to hear this.
how did you guys get Godspell, Eugene and Marty?
How did we get Godspell? Well, Marty was still in school. Marty was still at McMaster University. He was writing his finals. I was living in Toronto. I auditioned for Godspell. I came out of the audition and I called Marty to say, Marty, you should come in for this and audition for this show. This is like a big New York Broadway musical, off Broadway, but to me it was Broadway. And he said, well, I guess he said, I'm writing my finals, but I guess I can come in. Maybe I'll find a minute. Maybe I'll come in.
And well, Eugene, what did you sing for your audition?
Well, this is a long story, but I originally went in to audition for an original song from a musical called Benji that we had done at McMaster University. Marty was the star of Benji and I directed it. And it was a song that was a cappella. So I sang that song for my audition and they stopped me. Howie Sponseller was the director of that show. He was in the original cast in New York. And he said, we need to hear you with piano. I said, well, there is no piano. It's just an a cappella song. He said, I'm sorry, we need to hear you with piano.
Yeah.
So I had, in waiting to go into my audition, I had heard 9 out of 10 people go in and sing Aquarius from Hair. And I actually learned the first 2 verses just by listening to them through the door. So I said, okay, Aquarius. And I got through the first 2 verses up till the part where you go, harmony and understanding, sympathy and trust, that, because I didn't know that part.
Uh-huh.
But I hit the high note and they said, okay, fine, that's as much as we need to hear. So I auditioned with Aquarius.
And then you were kind enough to not feel competitive with Marty that you said he should audition too, which I think is impressive.
Well, Marty and I were very good friends at that point. We had become good friends at McMaster University, and I knew that he could sing, and I knew that he loved acting, and he was majoring in social work at the time. He was going to be a social worker, by profession, I guess, at that point. And so he came in thinking, what? I've got nothing to lose, Mart? Is that what you were thinking?
Well, it just seemed like something exciting to do. I didn't assume that it would end up with this kind of career that I have.
Well, what I should have done was not tell him.
Exactly.
But I made the mistake of telling him, and he came in, and we both got the show. 2 kids from Hamilton, Ontario.
That's right. You were so excited.
Yeah, we were very excited.
You know, there was like 1,000 people at Masonic Temple and people cheering on their friends, and it was whittled down. And they finally picked these 10 people. And then I remember Eugene and I went out to a payphone, and we kept taking turns who we could phone and tell.
Yeah, we both got hired. Now, Andrea and I were very good friends at that time as well. In fact, it was at the Godspell audition where I introduced Andrea to Marty.
That's true.
At the callbacks. Yes. And so we all sat together in the callbacks in the front row for the auditioning process.
But she wasn't cast.
No,
she wasn't.
She wasn't.
I literally wanted the show more than anybody because
Andrea, let's hear a little bit of the song you sang and how did Howie sponsor and Steve?
Oh,
at 21, you've had it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Martin. Very good.
Very good, Miss Martin.
We'll call.
No, you don't need to read.
All right, so now I'm going to take over from this.
The thing about Godspell was that they wanted people who were just kind of basically real people who weren't necessarily exceptionally talented or could sing or weren't that slick, whatever. But Andrea, did not make the first round. In fact, when they called the names of everybody for the first cut, I remember Andrea saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did they call my name because I wasn't listening and I didn't hear if they could call." We had to say, "I don't think they did." So
So wait, I'm going to take over though, because then I went right to Vic Tanny's gym, which was like Equinox in Toronto.
No.
And what do you mean no?
No, you went to, at that point, you went to a coffee shop.
That's right, Dunkin' Donuts.
Because Marty, during the break, went into that Dunkin' Donuts, and you saw him there. And you said, "Oh, what's going on? Like, what's going on?" And Marty said, "Well, I got the show." And you said, "Oh, congratulations. I feel so happy for you." But here's the kicker. Of course, Andrea should have got the show in the first place. And when there was an opening during rehearsals, when one of the girls in the cast got pregnant, and they found out, well, she got pregnant, so she can't do the show. And I said to Andrea, there's a thing going on tonight, a party going on tonight at Victor Garber's, and the director's going to be there. You should come tonight, and you got to sell yourself. You got to show them how funny you are. And Andrea showed up at the party and killed. So funny. The very next day, they call New York and they say, "We want Andrea Martin to go into the show."
Aww.
That's right.
Eugene. I was going to say that after the Dunkin' Donuts place, I went to Vic Tanny's and I stayed there every day for 2 weeks. And you called me in the Vic Tanny. I was in the sauna, and then Andrea Martin, please come to the phone. And it was you on the phone saying you're going to be cast in Godspell.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Now, by the way, let's have Verite, because it wasn't Dunkin' Donuts. It's that other place that's there.
Ooh.
Tim Hortons.
Maybe, yeah.
Verite.
Right.
Well, this is going back to wartime.
Vietnam. So Eugene, you got Marty and Andrea the gigs.
Well, I mean, they got the gigs. They got the gigs. I just kind of alerted them that there was a possibility that, there was something they might love doing.
Aww.
Andrea was a big kind of Broadway star. Andrea had done a lot of musicals. She was doing It's a Good Man. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, but I wasn't on Broadway. I wasn't on Broadway until I was in my mid-40s. But yeah, I was in my 20s then. Anybody in a production outside of the Hamilton Players Guild, to me, was doing Broadway. Yeah.
So huge.
Well, I certainly had aspirations to be on Broadway, but yeah.
So Catherine O'Hara, did you guys meet in Second City doing the actual live improv? Is that how you met everybody?
No, my brother was dating Gilda Radner, God bless her. And Gilda was in Second City. I mean, Second City later.
Godspell.
And Gilda was in Godspell with all these lovely people. And actually, my sister Mary Margaret and I did audition and got callbacks. That was later on, I don't know when, in Toronto for Godspell. Got callbacks, but Eugene did not intercede and we were not cast. Or he did intercede and we were not cast. I'm not sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I met them there. Gilda got Robin Duke and me tickets. We were still in high school when these old people were in Godspell. And we were nice try,
elderly.
Yeah, a nice try though. I'm sorry. Gilda got us tickets and then took us out for a drink after the show or something. So we just thought we were in heaven watching them in the show, and they were all so great, and the show was so beautiful. And then we got to hang out with them afterwards. It was a thrill, a big thrill.
So how did you start doing improv? Because I know you worked with Andrea doing improv, and also with Marty and Eugene in Second City.
Yeah, I was with Eugene first. I joined the cast when Gilda, again, God bless her, left Second City cast. I was her understudy to her and Rosemary Radcliffe, the other girl in the cast. And I understudied them both. And then Joe Flaherty was directing at the time and put me in the cast with Eugene. And apparently Eugene did. See, Eugene's a really good friend, very supportive friend. And he did help. Well, he didn't nix me. Some people didn't want me in the cast. Apparently Eugene was supportive.
Yeah, I did. I said, yeah, I think, yeah. And I think maybe it was, I'm not sure whether it was Joe or whatever, but somebody initially it said, no, I don't think so. Maybe a little too young. Because Catherine was very young at the beginning when we got into Second City. She was barely, I don't think you were 20.
No, I wasn't. No, I was 19.
Yeah. Very, very, very young. And I think that's what it was. Maybe just a bit too young, I remember Joe saying.
And then I guess Rosemary left and then you were in the cast, Andrea, right? Did you come in after Rosemary, I think? Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna believe everything you say because I have no memory. So yes,
neither do I. But I know that I remember I was just really finding my own feet there, and you came in and you were so strong, so great, and funny. Yeah.
Here's the cast from Godspell.
Oh.
Wow.
There's Andrea on the bottom and Gilda in the middle, right? And Marty right above. There's you with the mustache. Is Victor?
And was that Don Scardino?
No, that's Don Scardino, who took over from Victor.
Yeah,
Don Scardino. Here's a little playbill that we found. My friend Brittany found this for us.
No.
Wow.
Okay, after I met the cast with Gilda, I kissed Marty's picture in the program at home. At home, I had such a crush on him.
Oh, I didn't know that all these years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did Eugene and Marty, did any characters that went on to SCTV come out of your live improv in Second City in Toronto?
I never did Second City with Eugene, except that he directed me. I was a cast member, and he was now a famous alumni, and he was on SCTV, and he came back and directed a show called Saturday Night Fever.
So did you create any characters, Marty, in that live show that then went on to the TV show?
I think Ed Grimley came out of there.
Oh yeah, Ed Grimley.
Maybe even before, and then I did a number called Mr. Mel Lastman that would later become a form of Jackie Rogers Jr.
Right.
Lawrence, wasn't Lawrence kind of the way you did Lawrence? Wasn't that kind of based on your neighbor? Or some...
No, that was Mel Soren. Well, that was his name, by the way. I'm Troy. Oh,
No, Lawrence Orbach.
Lawrence Orbach. No, Lawrence Orbach was a guy was a writer guy I knew in LA. Not like that.
So, Catherine, what's your origin story for this? Because I've heard Andrea talk about that you were sort of responsible for it in the first place, for Edith Prickly.
Okay, I found that. Oh, well, we were doing a scene called Teacher, and it was a parent-teacher night thing, and we kept improvising it because that's the way you do it at Second City. You keep, while you run a show, you do improvs every night, and as you get, you run the show for about 6 months, and as you get closer to building the next show, you start really working on the improvs that seem to be working, and you're sort of honing in on you. And so by the time you put them in a show, they're written, but it starts with all the improvs. And so we kept improvising this parent-teacher scene, and everybody would come in every night and try different things. I would be the teacher, and I'd, each of the castmates would come to the door and be somebody. And I kept giving Andrea different names. And she'd say, "You're Mrs. So-and-so." And I'd say, "Yeah, you're," and one night it was Mrs. Prickly, right? "You must be Mrs. Prickly." Yeah. And I guess it worked for Andrea, so that stuck. And the jacket that she still wears to this day, right, Andrea?
Yeah.
Was my mom's. My mom wore it for real, for going out fancy, over a nice cocktail dress. And the hat I found for you at Goodwill, right? We had a Goodwill around the corner from Second City Theater.
You gave me Eugene and Catherine have given me my career, and Marty has kind of ruined it in the last few years.
Please try.
He's tried.
Andrea, when she said you must be Mrs. Prickly, how did you come up? Like, what did you say? How did you react?
I think I probably quickly said, that's right, Mrs. Prickly, Edith's, Mrs. Prickly's the name, Edith's the game. I think it just happened very quickly without me thinking about it, thank God, because thinking about anything in improv is just the recipe for disaster. So
but
I think
what Mrs. Prickly did is channeled part of Andrea's pushy side.
In a good way, now.
How dare you?
Okay, so how did this live show become this TV show that I became obsessed with? Who had the idea and who formed it, and how did you all begin?
It was all my idea.
Hey, can I just say one thing?
Yes,
I wasn't in the early part of the show, early years, so they can answer. I'm going to get a drink.
Yeah. In fact, to be honest, I don't know why Marty's on this broadcast. He really had very little to do with the show. Now, how did it start? Well,
Saturday Night Live, wasn't it?
Saturday Night Live started in 1975, and then I remember Bernie Stallings, who owned the Second City Theater at that time, said something like, and SNL was comprised pretty much 50% Second City and 50% National Lampoon. And Bernie was saying, well, why should we be losing all of our Second City alumni to Saturday Night Live? We should have a place where they can go and do a show. And so that spawned a bunch of people. Del Close and Bernie and Harold Ramis, the late great Harold Ramis, and Joe and myself and Dave, and I don't know what Catherine, were you involved?
Yeah,
right. To be honest, I can't remember actually. It was the cast at that time that was doing the latest incarnation of the City stage.
And John Candy,
And John Candy, of course, yes, the late great John Candy. And so we just started brainstorming, and between everybody, I think Harold and Del and Bernie, I think the idea of a television station where you could do parody, which was the Second City kind of landmark thing, satire, where you could satire television, create a station or a network where you could parody all the shows. And the idea of having a through line that runs through the episode was also a very important part of it. And for that, we needed people who worked at the station, if I remember correctly.
Mrs. Prickly. You were the station.
We all found characters. I think with Catherine. I mean, many characters, but characters that really stuck. I think for Catherine, would you say Lola? I mean, there've been so many characters everybody's done, but
yeah, I didn't really have I had like Maureen or whatever.
Right.
I had a couple of scenes with John as Johnny LaRue, but I never really had a consistent station character. Just
you were like a talk show, like you'd be guest stars on talk shows.
Yeah.
Or you'd be one-offs. You're talking about Lola. I have so many great clips I have to talk about. So this is Way to Go Woman, where you go to Calcutta to interview Mother Teresa. First of all, your outfit is like hers, but you have it bedazzled, which I'm obsessed with. And then your unawareness of your job compared to her job is so hilarious because you're always on the go. This is how brilliant this clip is.
His father has found work and his mother is well enough to take him home. They'll be together finally.
Mother Teresa, what do you get out of this?
I am happy they are strong and capable.
Yeah, but don't you feel like just sometimes saying, oh, get it together, will you, and stop coming to me for all the answers?
You've had a long trip. Would you like to rest for a while?
Are you kidding? I'm on the go 24 hours a day non-stop. That's just the way I am. You too, I guess. There's nobody quite like her.
You too, I guess. Shut up. It's so hilarious.
Was I supposed to be able to see that? Because I couldn't.
Well,
I could.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you couldn't see it?
No, I saw a picture and it just kind of froze, but that's okay. I kind of remember.
That's just
Very funny.
Catherine wrote that scene and so many scenes that we did together. I just, I worship her. And really, so many brilliant scenes that she'd go and write, and then I'd be lucky enough to be in, and that was just one of them.
No, you would make them come alive.
Okay,
I wish you'd show Nosy. What is it? What was it called, Catherine?
I could not find it. How Nosy the short-haired terrier dog got its name.
Oh my God!
Was that scripted? It's so bizarre. Oh, he's sniffing and puffing. It's so bizarre, and it's just a ticking clock and the camera going in a circle. Who came up with that idea?
Doug Steckler was one of the writers on the show, and I swear any scene that you might think of that was just weird, it would be Doug's.
Yeah.
He wrote some really crazy stuff.
Well, we have Marty back. Marty, let's talk for a second about your character Rusty, which is I guess he's a child star, but now the show's never gone off the air.
His name is Rusty Van Reddick, and he's been on the air for 39 years playing an 8-year-old boy. And what they did is, as Rusty got older, they fired the original cast and got actors, and Miss Sets just for some. He seems smaller, but his voice was like Lucy's.
And also, he's super heavy. He gained 50 pounds.
He gained about 50, but he was still in the bib overalls.
I think I have the clip. Hold on, let's see.
Oh, Rusty, I want you to show me what you did to your teacher.
All right, T. Whoa, ho, ho.
Here's child star Rusty Van Reddick for the Nursery School Association of America.
Hi, I'm Rusty Van Reddick. That was me in 1952.
What a great hit that was.
I wasn't.
That was a massive hit.
So,
whoa, whoa, whoa.
Was it all right, T?
How would you guys do anything?
We had the most brilliant.
Was actually funny.
We talk about these people a lot, but we had the most brilliant hair and makeup and wardrobe departments in that you can't even imagine. The only thing when I see the wardrobe in Schitt's Creek, I think that's challenging the genius of Jewel Hallmeyer.
And the wigs, the challenging the genius of Judy Cooper-Seeley.
Judy Cooper-Seeley and Ivan Lynch, and then Bev Scheckman.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I think Jewel is a backup dancer. Wasn't he a backup dancer for you, Andrea, when you played in Dusty Town?
Yeah, and I hope that he's watching tonight because out of the blue, Marty and I got emails from Jewel today, and because we had done a video for him for an award that he so deservedly won. And I said, try to watch it tonight. He said, I don't know if I know how to. I'm like, if I can do this, believe me, you can. So a shout out to Jewel.
And it'll be online.
For his awards? You sent a video?
Yeah.
Oh, great. So did I, as Lola.
Oh, that's so. See how good you are. Look at that.
So, you mentioned John Candy. What was your working relationship with John Candy? He was so worshipped by people as a comedian. What was your working relationship like?
Wow. John was quite amazing. John was one of those people who his whole physical being could transcend the screen when he was on the big screen. John was certainly one of the funniest guys, one of the sweetest guys, and that all came through in his work. He was probably one of the most beloved people ever in the entertainment business. And it was always great to work with John. He wasn't necessarily great at putting pen to paper, but
he would put pen to napkin.
But if you had an idea and took it to John, he would in 10 minutes just kind of, just riff in character to give you enough. If you could scribble it down fast enough and then take it and go and, write something around it.
Yeah. He was exactly what you would dream he would be if you met him.
Absolutely, yeah. One time I went to John's house to write. We were supposed to write a scene. I got there around 2 afternoon. Nothing, fool around. And now we had some drinks. It's 5. And then he said dinner would be later. And at 6, a billiards table arrived. Guys carrying it in. That took 2 hours to set up. Now it was a 10 o'clock dinner, and I had a driver, and I left at 2 in the morning.
And you never
wrote nothing. And it was the greatest one of the great nights of my life. John was Catherine said it perfectly. He's exactly what you would dream he would be.
Yeah.
I was watching.
And he treated everybody exactly the same. You could be somebody delivering water, or you could be the Queen of England, and he'd treat you exactly the same way. So he was loved.
And he'd improvise with you. If you started a bit, anybody on the street, if they started a bit with him, he was the king of yes and. He would just go with it, go with any bit. He was also a great negotiator and really had a good, I think, sense of himself and his worth.
Well,
a great business sense, right?
I'm not entirely sure about how good a negotiator he was. In his later years, he was. But I remember John took me to my first hockey game, my first Toronto Maple Leaf hockey game, and he called me over and he said, "Come over to I got tickets for the game tonight. Come on over to my place, and we'll go over from there." Because at that time, John lived about a block away from Maple Leaf Gardens. So I went over to John's place, and we start walking down to the arena, and then John says, "Now I just have to look for a couple of scalpers." And I said, "Wait, John, I thought you had tickets." And he said, "No, well, I mean, I'll get tickets, but this is your first game. This is really important." I said, "Well, John, I don't want you spending money to get money. Don't worry about it. You got to know how to deal with people. You got to know how to negotiate with these people." And he goes up to a scalper in front of the arena, and I see him go over, and I hear him say, "How much for the tickets?" And the guy says something like, $300. John says, "Okay." And he digs into his pocket and pulls that money, and I run up to him, and I say, "John, $300 for 2 tickets? This is way too much money." No. This is exactly the way it should be. This is your first game. There wasn't a lot of negotiating back then.
No, I guess maybe he was just being kind, though. He was just being kind to the scalper. But later when as the show went on, he got really good at it.
Absolutely.
So
who came up with the bizarre idea of Peter Pan starring John Candy as Divine? It's such a crazy combination.
I think that was myself and Mike Short.
Yeah.
It is so. Here, watch how crazy this is.
I won't grow up.
I won't go up.
I don't want to go to school.
I don't want to go to school.
Just learn to be a parrot.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
Every side of silly roof.
Every side is silly roof.
Oh, it's been a long time since I've seen that. That's hysterical.
Wait, was I the first to cast him as her in
Yes,
Dusty Town
yes,
Christmas?
you were.
Yes, I was as
What was
Divine.
the piece?
Divine, Dusty Town's Christmas special.
Oh, yes.
It's Divine.
And
Well,
his
that
daughter,
was-
his daughter
Right.
came to the set. Said, "Daddy!" right away as soon as she saw Divine.
Yeah. That was one. Playing Divine was one of his favorite things ever on the show.
But Marty, it gets so surreal and so inside because it's Peter Pan with Divine, who's pretty well known, but then it's Captain Hook, played by David Steinberg. It's like it's specific. You have to watch how specific this is.
Utterly obnoxious.
Peter Pan is my hero.
Booga booga! You see, to me, the idea of scaring someone by simply saying boo is so much less effective than by saying booga booga! Children! Ooh! All right!
What a great Steinberg.
Yeah. So specific. Okay, part of Stars in the House is we always have a doctor. We have the chief medical correspondent from CBS, no joke, Dr. Jon Lapook, who appears on the shows and gives us medical updates. So I got to bring on Dr. Jon Lapook. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, it's just going to tell us what's going on these days. Dr. Lapook.
Yay!
Hi, guys. Listen, these are four of the funniest people on the planet. So you got to know, you have to sort of do telepathy. People want to hear them. It reminds me of the Johnny Carson show many years ago when George Gobel came on after Bob Hope and Dean Martin and said, "You ever feel like the world was a black tuxedo and you were a pair of brown shoes?"
Right.
I'm the brown shoes. I'm going to say very quickly two things that you need to know medically. One is people, we've been telling people with COVID, stay at home, which is good advice unless you really get shortness of breath. You definitely come in with shortness of breath. You get really, really sick or you're spiking fevers. It's not going away. What we are seeing is that after about 7 or 8 days of this, if you're at home, you want to think about it again, okay? Don't just say, okay, I got that piece of advice 7 days ago and now I'm writing it out, because we are seeing people who take a nosedive at the 7 to 10 to 12 day area. Not, most people get better, but the people who are older, who have underlying conditions, I've been seeing this a couple of times. So I really want people to be empowered to reach out to their doctor, not just if you're short of breath, not just if you're having spiking fever, but I know this is unscientific, but if you think you're headed in the wrong direction, okay? If you think you're headed in the wrong direction, call your doctor. The second thing, and then I'm out, because I got to hear more of you, and because you do more for people's health than anything I will ever do. Every laugh extends my life. But what we are seeing in New York City, and it's quite dramatic, is that people are afraid to come to the emergency room. So we're seeing people who are having crushing chest pain, who normally would come in, and if you come in and you get, if you're having a certain type of a heart attack and you get a cath and they open up the vessel quickly, it can prevent a further heart attack and it can decrease your chance of dying. People are having appendicitis. What happened to the appendicitis? People are staying at home, and you can sometimes treat that with antibiotics. People can get urinary tract infections and it can enter your bloodstream. So we're seeing a significant drop in the number of people with other things who normally would come to the emergency room but now staying at home because they're afraid of getting COVID. So I would say, if you're feeling lousy, don't be afraid to come to the hospital. At the beginning, we weren't quite, I think everybody was not quite prepared to protect everybody. Now it's kind of universal precautions most places. If you come in, they're going to give you a mask or they're going to put you in a place. that's safer. And I would not stay at home with your heart attack, stroke, or anything else thinking, well, I'd rather take my chances at home. That's my whole spiel for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Lapook. Any questions from our cast members?
No, just testing. They gotta get the testing going.
100%. I've been yelling this for about 3 weeks now. Once we have not the acute one to find out if you have active, well, we need that too. But the blood test to find out, did you get infected without realizing it? When the symptoms are anything from nothing to severe pneumonia, you're about to die. Wouldn't you like to know whether that cold you had a month ago was really COVID? And we don't know. There's an asterisk whether you're going to be protected, how protected. But wouldn't you like to know that you have antibodies to it? And by the way, if you have a lot of antibodies, maybe you can give your plasma to somebody who's really sick and help them.
But doctor, wasn't there a lot of discussion today about the antibody test wasn't accurate?
That's exactly right. This is why I love Marty Short, as knowing him so well. We actually met on the set of One Day at a Time when you did your little recent spiel. You did that thing. The thing where you
the
came
thing
on.
I've done before and will do again.
Exactly, the special. Anyway, you were hilarious. But that's exactly right. What happened was a lot of people said, "Oh, I'll make that test," and there wasn't a lot of oversight, and a lot of it was really garbage. And you know something? One of them I heard was actually testing positive if you had a different member of the coronavirus family, which is the common cold. I mean, so worse than no test is a test that's inaccurate, because God forbid you take the test and say, "Oh, look at that, I have antibodies," and then you feel maybe you're protected, and that a bit. So the FDA is really looking at this closely. There are a number of places. We're doing stories at CBS Evening News about this all the time, and it's getting there. It's not getting there as fast as we want. I think every single solitary person in the United States, if I were king of the jungle, would have that test, and then we would start to be able to get our arms around it, because there's this friction saying you either save the economy or you treat coronavirus. Well, you can get your arms around both. And if people have the antibodies, maybe they can consider going back. You can start sending them back. And wouldn't you like to know the anesthesiologists who are at the greatest risk? They're there putting the tubes in. The virus is sprayed into the air. Wouldn't it be great that if they had a lot of antibody, you found people who had a lot of antibody because they had been infected, and put them there? Of course, still wear the protective gear, which is, of course, the punchline to these bandanas. You shouldn't wear the bandanas and think, "Oh, I'm safe." The bandana is the equivalent of covering your mouth with your arm, but you still got to do the social distancing, which should really be called physical distancing, because look at us, we're socially together.
I have a question. I have another question.
Marty Short.
Well, I mean, let's say you have friends that have isolated for 20 days, and they've been smart friends, right? They're not cheating friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then another set of friends say, "Hey, and celebrate my birthday," and they're smart friends, and they've done everything well.
Is this because you were supposed to have a birthday party?
Had a 6 feet apart.
I
believe I was talking.
Yeah.
So, is this all? But I'm just saying, can you then have a 6 feet apart cocktail party?
Yeah. So here's what I told. I'm going to give a serious answer to how can you look at that face and give a serious answer? But I'm going to try. Okay. Somebody dialed into NYU Langone has a radio show, and they dialed in and they said like a similar question, and except for their son had an immunocompromised situation, and said, what's safe to do, even if we have 6 feet away. It's another variable. As smart and as wonderful and as terrific as all your friends are, the truth of human beings, me included, is that we're not perfect. And even when I think I'm washing my hands the right way and I've been as careful as I can, it's another variable. Each person's another variable. And each person, it's not just that person, it's the person they were in contact with and they were in contact with. And you have this incubation, this cockamamie incubation period of 2 to 14 days with, here's the thing, 1 to 2 days, maybe more, of where you can be shedding the virus and have no symptoms. So that's the problem with your party. 6 feet away, there's been some stuff saying, there's nothing magical about 6 feet. If the person is aerosolizing a little bit, we think there might be a little bit of the virus in the air. If somebody, sneezes or something, maybe it goes further than 6 feet. Maybe.
What if it's a 6 feet apart party? Everyone wears masks and you're outside.
He really wants a birthday party.
You want a birthday party?
It's not me. It's nothing to do with me. I'm talking about a mutual friend.
Okay. Well, it reminds me at some point. It reminds me of when they say the people who have the caloric deprivation, and if you really have like 400 calories a day, you can live to 110. But who wants to live to 110? So at some point, you've changed that party where you're all wearing gear and rubber band stuff, and you're 10 feet away, and you're
but I mean, if that's the best you can do, that's the best you can do. I'm saying in such a situation as I described, outside, 6 feet apart, people wearing masks, they take them off to to do the heroin or whatever they're doing. But the point of it is, are they being safe, or are they still being reckless?
Well, it doesn't seem like it would be fun though at that point. I mean, what would you do?
No, I can do character work like I can do my all my what's my line. You wear a mask with it.
Okay, so I'm going to put aside whatever the regulations are in your area, because I don't want to, the rules are the rules. But if you're talking medically, what is reasonable? Every one of these. So medicine is an eternally humbling profession, seriously. And that's why you're seeing, we're comfortable with uncertainty, because we know that, like 1,000 years ago, we said, oh, you drill a hole in the skull and you let out the evil vapors, and that's how we treat people, right? And that changes. And you're seeing with this epidemic, our advice changing every day, practically every 3 days, as we learn new things. So I'm reluctant to say, okay, here's how it could be safe.
How about let's just say it's a bad idea to do that?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Because here's the bottom line, Marty, that you could try to make it, and it's 12 feet or whatever. The point is that there's variables involved, that it's riskier than not doing it.
Yeah.
And here's the problem in terms of risk benefit. If the consequences, and I've seen it, of getting infected can be devastating, like death.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the problem with me, doctor.
Yeah.
I need an audience. And Zoom's not enough. So what am I to do?
In some small way, Marty, this whole pandemic is not about you.
It isn't.
Only in a small way.
Hello, my mic's not working.
No, but can I just say, somebody should invent a Zoom audience. You need a Zoom audience.
Well, thank you. Well,
look at all the time I'm saying I'm brown. I'm a pair of brown shoes. Go back, gay. Go. Be funny.
Thank you, Dr. Lapook.
Thank you, doctor.
Thanks, Dr. Lapook.
Excellent.
I love having him. So here's the deal. I'm going to show another video clip, but all the mics have to be muted when I show the clip. Andrea, for some reason, your mic kept going on when I was showing it. So
Andrea.
Andrea's an idiot.
No, you can. No, now you're muted. No, dear. Okay. I didn't want you muted then. No, mute now. I'm saying I'm going to show a clip. So Andrea, this is you as Bernadette. And what I love about this is that the imitation is so surreal, because it's not even based on reality. You added this thing where for some reason her voice gets really loud, but she remains dead-faced. Like, what did you base that on?
I was a huge fan of Bernadette Peters, and I'm not like a great impersonator, so I probably just took one little quality and exaggerated it. I mean, I don't know.
So surreal. Okay, so watch. I'm hoping your mic is going to be muted. Here we go.
Do you want me to mute it now?
Sure. Mute it now.
Okay.
And go.
Well, now, Bernadette, I hear tell you were in lots of movies, but I'll be honest with you, I don't remember you in none of them.
Yeah, what movies were you in?
I was in The Jerk, and Pennies from Heaven, and Annie.
Why does Annie have to be so loud? And then Okay, and then you do at the very end, right before you blow up, you say like a weird saying from like a 1940s movie. Do you remember what it was? Right before you go out to sing?
Show more of it. Show more of it.
I'm going out a star. Wait, but I'm going out a star. Is that what
it's so loud? Here, watch. Mute it.
Just think of it this way. I'm going out there and little miss nobody. But I'm coming back a star.
That's what makes it funny.
It's such a hilarious confluence. Hold on, wait, she's muted. What'd you say? Oh, wait,
you're muted.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
I don't know. You kids keep going. I don't know. I just,
What do you think when you watch that? Do you think, oh my God, I was hilarious?
I think, wow, my breasts were big because I was 9 months pregnant. I had Jack like within a couple of weeks of that. So those were mine. But I'm like, wow, I can't believe my body is what I'm thinking.
Okay, wow. Wasn't what I was thinking. Probably James was complaining about the video clips. He just texted me, said the sound was good. So if you mute, the sound is good.
Okay.
Someone didn't mute last time, and halfway through they muted.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Andrea.
What is this?
So please.
Oh, great. Okay, check. Okay. So Marty.
Yeah.
You're Jackie We Hardly Knew Ye. I can't tell you how many times I've sung it. It's not a song. What? I don't know what it is. It's like it's sort of spoken sung.
Jackie, we hardly knew. Granted, we knew ye, but I would have to say, mama, hardly.
Whoa.
Why do you have that memorized? Have you done it since? Like, is that your bit? It's just surreal.
Now I have an odd memory for things.
Okay, everyone just watch it because for some reason I would have to say there's an M at the end of the word say, which I'm obsessed with. Why is there an M? Okay, it's so brilliant.
So please, I treat you to join us for
Jackie, we hardly knew ye. Granted, we knew ye, but I would have to say hardly.
Jackie, we hardly knew ye.
Wow.
Say him.
Why is there an M?
I don't know how to do this. Okay.
No, you're back.
That instinct kept me out of the big money in show business.
All right, Eugene, I want to talk about Five Neat Guys. It was basically always the exact same song, but it was like all different song titles. Like the chord, it was always the same, like 1, 4, 5 chords. Who wrote that and who did the harmony?
Well, I wrote it, and I think me and Dave and Rick did the harmony parts. did the five parts.
It's always the exact same tempo, basically the same chord changes.
It's not complicated music.
It's so repetitive. But I also love that the one time they have a close-up of you, you have full eye going out. Just take a look. It's so horrific looking. Okay, Andrea, mute yourself. Mute it. 1, 2, 3.
Songs from 5 of the world's neatest guys. It's K-Tel's 5 Neat Guys Neatest Hits.
It's just full eye that way.
Yep. Well,
so good.
Give me a hat, give me a beard, give me some funny glasses, put it on, and let's call it a day.
But here's the other thing about Eugene. Eugene wrote those pieces himself.
Yeah, I think.
So that's my question.
It was very interesting. You know, Andrea were similar in the sense that we had ideas or maybe characters, but we wanted writers to help us. We wanted. I was never a self-auteur, nor I don't think Andrea you were. and but we would lead maybe the room, but we still needed, the scribes with us. Catherine and Eugene did not.
Writers.
Eugene wrote the most group pieces.
I did. I wrote a lot on my own. Catherine wrote a lot of pieces on her own.
Wow.
You wrote way more though, and you wrote all those soap operas, Ridiculous Days of the Week.
I love Days of the Week.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
So
Yes.
Eugene, you would write the scenes for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, it was originally done as a as a way to save money, where we have to kind of cut the budget down. How are we going to save money? I said, well, what if we had something where you're using the same sets every week and you don't have to keep building sets, something like a soap opera? And they said, well, yeah, that could work. So that's how that started. So I actually ended up writing it. And, the funny thing is, the scariest night of my life was at the end of it all, writing the last episode for Days of the Week. And it was a long shooting day, and I had to write this piece. We were shooting it the next day. And I kept going up, staring at a blank page in a typewriter, thinking, okay, what have I done now? I've really got myself into it. At the same time, downstairs in the studio, they were shooting one piece, the Grimley, Whatever Happened to Baby Ed, was being shot downstairs with Marty and John Candy. And I would keep going downstairs to see how they're doing shooting. And, they were having fun. It was like a really bizarre piece. And I'd go back upstairs. I'm staring at a blank page. I went back to the studio. They're now gone. They've gone home. It's like midnight. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? I'm never going to do this. We're shooting it in the morning. And the idea of thought bubbles, because I kept talking to myself in the writing room, came into my head. So I ended up starting the scene just using thought bubbles in the courtroom. Like, gee, I wonder if you can smoke in here, says Rocco. and everybody had a thought bubble. Even Carol Burnett, who dropped by the studio morning because she was shooting a movie with Elizabeth Taylor in Toronto, and she was a big fan of the show. She came to the studio. We got her in the scene and gave her a thought bubble. And Catherine had a cameo in that piece as well, because she was not in the last season of the show. But she came by on the last day, and I think we, and got her into that. So that was Days of the Week.
I love Days of the Week. Andrea, did you create Mojo, or did someone give you that part?
Gosh, I actually don't. Catherine, do you remember? I don't remember.
Well, Eugene wrote the scene, but I can imagine that you created the character. Eugene wrote the thing you were doing. That's so. I don't know. That character is so you. It's not you, but you're kind of great character. I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It was a character that she wasn't that bright, and I thought, gee, I wonder.
Is he bigger than
Andrea pulled his off?
Oh, I've been quoting this. I can't hear. Andrea, mute yourself because I have to play this. This is the quote that my friends and I have been doing for literally like 40 years.
The last time I saw him, I'll never forget. He was no bigger than...
This cup?
No, he was a little bigger than that. But his little head was just a mass of golden locks.
This cup?
I've been misquoting it all these years. I thought she said, was he bigger than teacup?
No.
This cup.
Yeah, that's great. This cup.
Yeah.
This cup.
That was so great too. And May Madlock, I love that character. That was my mom. I was doing my mom for sure. Yeah.
With the noose around her. It begins with the noose around the neck. End of
that wasn't my mother, but for sure the character was a little bit.
Marty had just come into the show around about the time we started Days of the Week, and we I gave him the part of the actual Billy McKay,
the amnesia victim.
And it's funny to think that he actually did it so well, and it was a straight role.
It was very straight. In fact, Joe Flaherty and his character confronted me in one scene and improvised, and you with your bland character choice.
Oh my Lord. I love Rocco. Rocco was the best.
You were sweet in that role. Who wrote the various haiku sketches, night school haiku and regular haiku? Who wrote those?
Catherine.
Yeah.
That
was fun. Were
you basing that on just the relentless interrupting? Were you basing that on anybody like from your high school or something? Just the nonstop raising of the hand?
No, I don't know. Maybe at the time, I'm not remembering, or it was just myself. But I used my mom's name. That was her maiden name, Margaret Meehan, and she actually went to Parkdale Collegiate. She was not flattered by it. I mean, she had a great sense of humor, God bless her. But no, she said, I was never that stupid. Not quite that stupid. But I did. I remember I wrote it, but I remember overwriting it as well, and then getting it, edited by Eugene or whoever's like, come on, it should be a half hour long. Why are you cutting it down? Yeah, it was a half hour. But it was based on, what was that show called? It was
Haiku and then Night School Haiku.
No, yes, but there was a real show out of Hamilton where Eugene and Marty are from.
Reach for the Top.
Reach for the Top, yeah, it was based on. Yeah,
it was an actual quiz show with high school students.
And all the characters had names from my friendships and my family.
I have clips of the relentless interrupting here. I'll get Andrea mute because I got to play video. Hold on, here we go. 1, 2, 3, mute, and click.
Luck for 25 points. Our first topic is Margaret Meehan, Central.
Dewey Decimal System?
No, Margaret, I'm afraid that answer is incorrect. The topic is motor mechanics. Now, for 25 points, what is Margaret Meehan, Central?
Backseat driving?
Margaret, no. That answer, too, is incorrect, and I'm afraid I'll have to ask you not to press the buzzer until I finish asking the question. Margaret, you should be very familiar with the rules here on Haiku by now. We have to hear the question before we can answer it.
Just the listening phase is amazing as you're taking in the information.
It's like a marionette.
Wait, hold on. This is where finally Eugene has a fit.
But it's no points on that one. We really do have to move along to our next topic, which is Margaret Meehan, Central.
Computers?
Our next topic is music. Margaret Meehan, Central. For 20 points each. Define the following English word. Margaret Meehan, Central.
A small vice-like object.
No, it is not a small vice-like object. And there you go again, wasting more of our time with another one of your stupid guesses. No points on that one. Disconnect your buzzer.
Eugene,
he wasn't muted.
I know a microphone wasn't muted.
I know someone didn't mute, and I think it was Andrea.
That was such a great, two great pieces, Haiku and Night School Haiku, and the idea of doing Alex Trebek again. I mean, this was these characters were the forerunners of what was the other piece that I did with Alex Trebek? Halfwit.
Yeah, halfwit.
These were high school students that were beyond dim-witted high school students. So it was a natural path to go right into just calling them halfwits.
Yeah.
I was talking to Tina Fey because I was asked because Tina Fey was obsessed with SCTV too, and I was asking some of her favorite sketches, and definitely I'm taking my own head. She was obsessed with as I was, starring Libby Wolfson and Sue Bopper Simpson. So, Andrea, your Libby Wolfson is so hilarious and self-indulgent. Like, who are you basing that on? And who are you basing the nonstop sniffing on?
I did base it on a talk show host in Toronto. And now, of course, I can't remember anybody's name. But I definitely based it on somebody then. And
was it El Rios?
What?
Was it El Rios?
No, the woman, Mickey.
Yeah, I just saw her in Toronto last year.
What's her last name? Mickey Moore? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know what all that thing is, but maybe it's me. I don't know. What is that? Hello? Is that a cat? What? You know what it is? Tabbouleh. Serves me right for eating with my fingers. Anyway, but I don't. Okay.
So if you don't know, she's a talk show host, Libby Wolfson, and she's putting on like a feminist musical with her best friend, Soup Opera Simpson.
Yeah. Oh, wait, that actually, I wrote very, very little, but I think I wrote a lot of that piece. And that was based on a show that I'd seen in New York. I'm taking what is it? I'm taking my own act.
Wait, I'm taking my own and putting it on right. I'm getting my act together and taking it on the road.
Yeah, that's right. And so I was obsessed with that, and that's why. Yeah.
We have one man, 2 women, and one man in the show. Joe understood what he was doing as well as his character did.
It was Seth Dick III. Which one is that?
Oh, that's great. Who's that? Oh, that's
I don't know. And Catherine, you're constantly like, while Libby's talking on the talk show, you're just weirdly, I don't know if you're seeing yourself on the monitor, but it's just constant weird posing to the side. But here, this is classic Libby. All right, Andrea, mute. All right, I'm going to play Libby. Always repeating herself. Here we go.
Tell the story. It's about women, their tears, their fears, their pains, relationships, mothers, careers, sex, pain, relationships, everything.
No one's interested. Okay, so I have some of the clips. So Andrea, when you say that you wrote, did you write the music and lyrics too?
I think we did, didn't we?
I think we probably, boy, this is where it couldn't be less interesting because I literally can't remember. But I think we probably, I know that, if it was with Catherine, I'm sure we did it together, but I can't. I'm taking my own head screwing. I remember that.
No guy's gonna tell me that it ain't.
I'm taking my screwing it all right, and no guy's gonna tell me that it ain't. Yeah. I'm gonna break
This is the opening number, which I love, but I'm also obsessed with your exit because it's very when you're in high school and you're just learning how to dance and you do like a hop jump on the exit. So I'm obsessed with it. Here we go. Everybody mute. Here we go.
This play's about women's thoughts, women's fears, women's claps, women's tears. Menopause, stretch marks, sagging skin, kind of like the shape that we're all in. This play is by women, for women, full of women and women's stuff. But men, don't go away. You're welcome to stay. That's if you're man enough to love women.
Wow.
And then for years, my ex-boyfriend, when we would go to sleep, he'd always suddenly start singing, "Go to sleep," a horrible lullaby that you guys do. Wait, I'm putting it on. Okay, mute. Here, watch. It's so brilliant.
It's amazing that Joe went along with doing that, isn't it?
I know.
He was the last person you would think that would do that scene with us. It was perfect.
100%.
Yeah, great character for Joe. Actually, one of my favorite things seeing him in because it's so not Joe.
Seth, I love the details that you pick out of these scenes. They really make me laugh.
I can't say enough. Thank you for saying that because I really am obsessed. And Catherine, you weren't really a singer because in this last song from Getting My Own Head, you do a crazy arpeggio up to like a high C. It's so horrific, but like you really hit it. Were you soprano in high school?
I don't know what I was, but when I play a bad singer, I think I should be a bad singer.
Well, it's good singing. It's just a horrible musical arrangement because it's just arpeggiating.
Well, I love to do harmony naturally without any actual training, but yeah, I love it. I can't sing melody. When anyone sings melody, I have to harmonize. Eugene and I always harmonize to other people. We're always looking at each other, trying to get away from our notes. Like, well, you're going here. Okay, I'll go here. Oh, now you're going there. Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
You guys sound amazing. Here's the finale. Listen to your crazy high note. Andrew, you're belting the last note, and Catherine goes up 2 octaves. Here we go.
I'm taking my own head and screwing it on right, and no guy's gonna tell me that it's
Okay, that's high.
Oh my God. Amazing.
So, like Marty and Eugene, would you be there when they would film scenes, or was everything just separated?
That was pre-me. I was not in the cast yet.
And Eugene, would you watch other people film stuff, or was it just like people filmed on their own? Like, how did you?
Yeah, if we weren't already in makeup and hair, I mean, you know, we. It's hard to say, you know, because we would be, if we had nothing to do, I guess we'd be watching the scene. But a lot of times we're getting made up for what is going to be shot next, and you can't really, you know, we didn't have monitors in the makeup room back then where you could see what's going on in the studio.
What was your day like? Was it 9 to 5, or was it just endless?
It was, yeah, it was more 6 till 8. And I don't mean 8 a.m.
And like you said
But
earlier,
I was gonna say, let me say one thing that I remember doing a scene where Ed Grimley, it was a sunrise semester, and Ed Grimley was hypnotized by a snake. And we were doing takes, and then I go over and look at them, and Dave Thomas came down because the offices were upstairs at Magner. He came down, and I said, Dave, help me with this piece. And he looked at it and said, I have no possible clue what to say to you. And that was the strength of the show, that they would, Dave would feel like, I don't know what that is. I love that you're doing it. I don't know what it is. And the show would sew all these different comedic ideas together.
Yeah. You know, I actually remember a lot of being behind behind the monitors that we would watch, and going out and giving a suggestion, or having somebody giving me a suggestion.
Absolutely. Yes.
Extremely collaborative, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely. No, absolutely. He was just nonplussed. But my point was that, yes, actors would stand and say, maybe a little go less and go more, and give thoughts.
Or I remember with Yolanda de Vilbus, I think it was Catherine's idea, where because I didn't really have a character, and you said, I think just go get some white and put it on your teeth. And that actually, like, literally informed where I was going to go with that character. So I remember a lot of, you know, helping back and forth.
Did that give you the speech impediment?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 fruit beverages.
You know, considering how much was shot during the course of a day, and we had the luxury of being able to shoot a scene, then go back and look at the scene.
Right.
And everybody would look at it, and we would all contribute to what could be made better, or what could be a better line.
Yeah.
And then we would go back and try it, shoot it, and then go back and watch it again.
Wow.
And if there was more input, we'd have more input, and then we'd go back and shoot it again. When you think about it now, it
was a luxury.
Up the amount of time it takes.
Yeah.
By looking at the same scene, because some scenes were like, they went on a little bit, like the Mel Lasman thing, but they went on, and we'd go back and look at the whole thing, and then, you know, comment and give each other suggestions. And I think that's why, you know, the show worked as well as it did.
There's a great video. There's a great video that Eugene shot on the last day of SCTV.
Oh.
And we were on Cinemax then. And it's shooting an Ed Grimley scene where the premise that Ed was recording a video for an album that he was promoting. Ed Grimley sings of songs and loves a go. And I had the jacket on my shoulder, and it was supposed to be, when we shot it, and you keep seeing me going over the director, and then it comes shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. We just kept cutting it away, and it was like an onion.
Ad for the album, it was like the first take was like 5 minutes, and then you see Marty go over and talk to the director, and they're talking. And then they go back and do another take, and now it's 4 minutes, and then they go and talk again. Take, talk. They go back, shoot it. Now it's 3 minutes. They go back, they have another discussion. So it ended up being a good, maybe a minute, 20 seconds.
There you go. As it should have been.
A good tight minute 20.
Marty, who is it going to be based on? Did you just put your hair like that and suddenly you came up with a character?
No, there was my brother-in-law was a guy named Raul. And he kind of talked like that. He had a very lilty way. And then I don't know where, I must say, came in, but I was doing a scene with Catherine called Sexist, and it was Peter Aykroyd and Barb Barsky originally, and it was the John Candy scene, but I had filled, this is on the stage, and I filled in, and then Peter Aykroyd said to me, your hair gets, I grease it a little bit. He said, it's getting more greasy every day. And so one day as a joke, I put it right up in a point to make him laugh. And then the audience laughed. And I thought, well, that's kind of the point, I guess. So I'll keep it in a point.
Here's the boy who couldn't wait for Christmas.
Oh, I love
It's gotta be the most exciting evening of the whole year.
Christmas Eve, I must say. I can't believe it. I couldn't be more excited.
I wish you were here now, This waiting is like making me mental. What time is it now? Oh, 2:04. This is a joke. It's like I'm not even tired, But then if I don't get sleep, I know I'm going to look all ruined tomorrow. And just watch. I bet you any money Uncle Balfour brings his camera again.
Are you quelling? Like, why is the hand there? Are you trying to calm yourself down?
No, I think those are just kind of odd moves that you find yourself making.
So hilarious. All right, so I've upset so many times.
I think that move had a lot to do with how high the pants were. And the arms just kind of came up.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I've deconstructed so many Andrea scenes like in her apartment. So I feel like I have to do 2 more things because I've never hung out with you, Captain O'Hara. And by the way, just so you know, my signature expression in my family is hush, based on an outtake from Waiting for Guffman, where you go, hush, child, hush. I mean, literally, I say it all the time when my kid is bothering me. I always go, hush, based on you. So the 2 more things I have to deconstruct. First is your Katharine Hepburn. I love that she's wearing socks with sandals. Like, she's so at peace with herself, and her leg is like always on a bar. And also to this day, my friends and I have always quoted about actors who've always been like, they're indicating, they're generalizing, because it's you deconstructing people in NASA doing a play. It's the most surreal. So this is you talking about astronauts. It doesn't make any sense.
Show a clip.
They're lying by the seat of their pants.
Hold on. You've got to mute it. I beg of you to mute. Whoever's not muting, Andrew.
Who's not muting?
I thought perfectly.
Eugene.
Here we go.
Lying by the seat of their pants.
You're damn right they don't know the play. And to top it off, they're bad actors. They're indicating, they're generalizing, they're telegraphing, they're stepping all over each other's lines. I don't know if there's life on Mars, Tom, but I'll tell you this, there's certainly no life on that stage.
Well, here, I'll get this. Don't worry about that. Well, can I give you a call?
Maybe.
What about Saturday Night Live?
When I was younger, a man wouldn't dare cut me off until I was finished with him.
And when I was young, I rode ponies to school.
Oh, man.
Wow, great.
I learned to do Katharine Hepburn from imitating Marty's Katharine Hepburn. Same with Elizabeth Taylor and
you took it to a new level of you once again refined raw, cheap garbage.
No,
It was a brilliant impersonation.
No, but the socks and the sandals are ridiculous. And putting them up on the bar. I have no memory of this.
You're so comfortable with yourself that you literally have
and opinions.
So at peace. Okay, the final clip, because this show's going so long, but I'm loving it. I'm also obsessed with you. You're so good, Catherine, at being a quote-unquote bad actress. You so know how to make lines musically make no sense. So this is On the Waterfront again with Eugene, where it's so weird, your emphasis when you're like, it's not safe, they'll kill you. It's so weird. Okay, I love it. Okay, everybody mute. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh, wait, sorry, one more thing. Also, you want to say something for so long, so it's just nonstop mouth moving until you finally speak. Okay, here we go.
Oh, Terry, please stop, Terry.
I'm afraid. Let's get out of here. It's not safe. They'll kill you. They'll kill you.
What are you trying to?
What? I
don't that
I learned everything.
That's good acting.
How to act by being directed by Bobby Bittman. So that's Bobby's direction right there.
It's Bobby.
Wow. I'm feeling it now.
It's so brilliant. I mean, when you watch it, do you remember filming it, or do you just go like, I don't even remember these moments?
Kind of vaguely. It definitely helps. It's like a video diary. It's great. It kind of puts you in the moment. But I want to watch more. I don't know, Eugene, do you remember exactly doing it?
I actually have memories of doing the scene because because it's on the waterfront, which is one of my all-time favorite things. So when you get to do On the Waterfront, it's like you're definitely pumped about it, But
it's Bobby Bittman and On the Waterfront. It's appropriate.
That's what doesn't make any sense. And Lola, they're two Vegas performers that are now doing the remake of On the Waterfront.
The whole miscasting thing over and over on SCTV.
Well, I'll show that. Let me watch one more time because Bobby, you have one of your signature comebacks right after she says that line. Hold on.
Oh, Terry, please stop, Terry.
I'm afraid. Let's get out of here. It's not safe. They'll kill you. They'll kill you.
What are you trying to cheer me up? I'll be honest with you. That kind of cheering up, I don't need. Oh, Edie.
That's some good acting there. Wow.
God, is that funny? I guess, okay, first of all, I'm really thankful. People have been donating this whole time. So everybody keep donating Stars in the House. This will be up on the website. Is there any chance you guys would ever do a live show together and do some characters again one day?
Well, we did, a few years ago. There were some benefit shows that we all did and recreated scenes that we did on stage.
Was it
great fun?
Was it?
In fact, let me just say that we did in 2008, and in Toronto, and it was a big party after the first week. And I said to someone, "Where did Eugene go?" And they said he's on vocal rest. We had one more show.
You had one show in you?
This
is not exactly. It's not like hanging with Merman.
It's why I don't do theater. I can't make it past the first night.
My chords are ruined.
No, it was great. It was fun though, wasn't it? Getting to do all those scenes again, teacher, and
really fun.
The modeling show. We did some stuff from the TV show and the stage show.
I should try to get you that picture, Seth. Oh my gosh. I don't know how to do it. There's a picture of Jackie. Is this show that we did with Jackie Rogers Jr. and the dancer? Oh, I don't know how to get it.
You and Jackie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was on my shoulders, and we did a very kind of lewd dance.
But I, of course, don't know how to figure out to show you the picture.
Were you Marcy from Dusty Town?
Probably, yes. It was probably like a generic Marcy character. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I've had the best time. I'm getting all these texts. People are just loving it. Thank you so much. It was such a joy to be with you all. And thanks for helping out the actors.
Thank you.
Thank you, Seth.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you, Seth, and thanks for being such a fan.
Oh, I'm obsessed with you guys. All right. Peace out, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody, for donating. And thank you, Seth and James, for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you. Stay safe.
I'm going to roll.
Bye, honey.
I'm going to
Bye.
roll credits. All right.
Bye, friends. Love you.
Here are the credits. I'm going to play. Dedicated to you guys.
Tommy.
I'm done. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Podcast.